Hey, it's Patrick Moore here with a quick video on Social Security for small business owners. Now, I know some people may be sitting here thinking, hey, Social Security is not going to be around for me when I get to retirement, but I personally am not of that belief. And Social Security is something that even though you may not rely on it in retirement, you've been paying for it, right? So you might as well understand how your benefits accrue throughout your working career so that you do understand what benefit you may receive once you get to retirement. So with that being said, we're going to talk about Social Security, what it is really quickly. We're going to talk about how it changes when you're a business owner and then what it looks like in general for everybody. So stick with me here. We'll work through this really quickly so you have an idea of what your Social Security will look like when you retire. Now, on that note, these are all projections. The law could change, right? Whether it's tax law related to Social Security or your business, all of these things will have an impact upon the presentation. Now, Social Security, really quick, this is something, this slide here affects everybody the same, whether you're a W-2 employee or you're a business owner. So you need to earn 40 credits to qualify for Social Security retirement benefits. And that's key. It's different for disability benefits, which we're not going to cover today. We're just talking retirement. Now, you can earn a maximum of 4 per year, and you earn those credits for every $1,730 of covered earnings up to the maximum of $6,920 in 2024. So that adjusts with inflation, and in 2024, those are the numbers. So if you think about it, 4 credits a year, if you work continuously, it's going to be 10 years till you're fully qualified. Now, the thing is, even though you qualify at 10 years, your Social Security benefit is actually based on your highest 35 years of income. So you qualify once you earn, let's call it $7,000 a year, but your actual benefit is based on your highest 35 years, and that's up to a cap of $168,600 in 2024. So that difference between $6,920 and $168,600, the more you earn between that, the higher your benefit will be. But once you get to $168,600, anything over that does not count. So once again, real quick, qualify at 40 credits, but your benefit is based on your highest 35 years of income. So for those, women who may have taken off a few years right after the birth of a baby, one of those things will be, there can be a gap in that earnings record. So even though you've earned a lot of money, you may want to review that and kind of check out that record and see what your benefits actually are. Now, if you're a W-2 employee, once again, this video is for business owners, but you actually get a break because your employer pays for half of your taxes. Now, as everybody on this call knows, as a business owner, you're responsible for paying both sides of the Social Security tax, which winds up being 12.4%. Where things get tricky is if you noticed earlier, it said that the covered earnings are what qualify you for Social Security. Where businesses are different is that certain types of businesses will have some covered earnings, no covered earnings, or a mixture of the two. So let's look at that. So what are covered earnings for small businesses? Now, there are 4 tax types or tax treatments for businesses: sole proprietorship, a partnership, an S corporation, and a C corporation. And you'll notice an LLC is missing in there, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Now, if you're a sole proprietorship, that means that you haven't filed any organization documents. You don't have any partners. Maybe you formed an LLC, but you've made no tax elections. So this is kind of most people getting started. This is what they probably are. And remember, you don't have to be a sole proprietorship. It's just taxed as a sole proprietorship. So when you get your net income, your net profit number on your Schedule C, you take that number, you multiply it by 0.9235, and that's what's called your net earnings from self-employment. Basically, you get an adjustment for having to pay both sides of the self-employment tax. So if you look at that, 15.3% is the self-employment tax rate, 12.4% of that is Social Security. So almost all of your income is covered earnings if you're a sole proprietorship. If you're a partnership, it gets more complicated. If we had to boil it all down, almost all income is subject to self-employment tax, and it has that same 0.9235 multiplier we discussed as a sole proprietorship. However, there's a little bit of a flow chart here. So if we look at it, if you're in a partnership, there's multiple owners, right? So if you go down here, if you're a general partner, there's really no way around it. you're going to have self-employment tax. However, if you're not, it gets more complicated, which means you're considered a limited partner. Now, if you're a limited partner who is active in the business, which, has a lot of definitions, I don't really want to get into that on this call. If you are, yes, you're subject to self-employment tax. If you're not, so if you're a limited partner who is passive in the business, you will not be subject to self-employment tax. Now, there was a big recent court case. If this is you, if you're a limited partner, it's called Sorabon Capital versus the tax commissioners, I think. That one is basically changed or reinforced really the rulings on limited partners. You might want to check that out. But this is how it works. If you are in a partnership, all of your income goes on your K-1, whether it's guaranteed payments, business income, all of that after that small multiplier will affect your self-employment taxes. So the next one, S Corp. And I know I'm talking fast, but I want to keep things tight so that, people don't get bored. But on the S Corp, we've got two. You basically think of your business income as being split into two streams, right? When you form an S Corp, and this is something that a lot of people do to avoid FICA taxes and self-employment taxes, you split your income into two streams. First, you actually have to pay yourself as an employee because you're forming a corporation. That W-2 salary is subject to FICA taxes, which pays into your Social Security and is therefore covered earnings. On the business income side, there are no FICA taxes. So you could be a business owner making $500,000 a year, paying yourself a W-2 income of $60,000 or $80,000, which is probably lower than I'd recommend. There's a whole lot of other rules related to paying yourself what's called reasonable compensation. But looking at that, you could wind up making $500,000 and really pay almost nothing into Social Security. Now, there's a little bit of a benefit there, right? Because you're paying less in taxes. But if you're counting on and expecting you to have a substantial Social Security benefit at retirement, you may be surprised. The next one is a similar story as the S Corp. In a C Corp, which this is really the only similarity between the two, your W-2 salary is subject to FICA taxes, and then the business income and dividends are not subject to FICA taxes. Now, there's a whole lot of other differences here, both legal, tax, etc. This is really the only kind of similarity to the S Corp is that the business income not subject to FICA taxes. Now, real quick, an LLC, people always talk about forming it, or I hear people talk about forming an LLC to save money on taxes. That doesn't happen. An LLC is not something that will save you money on taxes. It's just a legal entity that will minimize legal claims against you if something goes wrong. Because an LLC is just a legal structure that gets taxed one of the four ways we talked about. It's either taxed as a sole proprietorship, a partnership, an S Corp, and an LLC can actually be elected to be taxed as a C corporation. So really, depending on your tax elections, you could be living in that situation of any of those that we talked about. Now, quick overview. We've got a few things here. We've got your W-2. Is it covered? Is it not? Got your business income. Is it covered? Is it not? Now, sole proprietor, if you're a sole proprietor, general partner, limited partner, either way, you can't have a W-2. Does not matter, so it's not going to count. Now, in all of those, if you're active in the business, your business income will qualify for self-employment tax, which will raise your Social Security benefits in the future. S Corp and C Corp are the opposite. Your W-2s are included, but your business income is not. So it's just a quick, helpful guide on how this works. Now, we're talking about paying into your covered earnings. If we look at this, somebody born in 1990 earned $100,000 for 35 years and retires at 67. If you have $100,000 in covered earnings for 35 years, you'd receive $31.56 in SSA benefits each month. And if you bumped all the way from 100 to 500, remember from 168 to 500, it doesn't matter. Your benefits would go up about 33%, up to $4,012. So there's an increase, but you're also paying more in taxes to get that increase. So just to show you kind of how that works. Now, really, hey, just real quick, I hope this video helped you understand it. There's no tricks here, right? It's just understanding how Social Security and your business interplay, because it has an impact on your taxes, your future retirement, and your financial plan. So if you'd like to review how all those integrate, let me know, reach out for a call. We do a 15-minute intro, but if not, I just hope this helped and hope you have a great rest of the day.